यहाँ इस वीडियो में हम पढ़ेंगे सेक्सुअल इस वीडियो लेक्चर में हम पढ़ेंगे सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन इन फ्लावरिंग प्लांट। और ये एनसीईआरटी का बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चैप्टर है, इसका वन शॉट वीडियो करेंगे। तो बेसिकली सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन इन फ्लावरिंग प्लांट होता क्या है? सो फ्लावर्स आर द मोस्ट फैसिनेटिंग ऑर्गन्स विच आर फाउंड इन प्लांट्स। सो इसके पार्ट्स क्या क्या होते हैं? तो इसका पार्ट्स होता है ओवेरी, ओव्यूल, उसके बाद सेपल्स, ओके, देन फिलामेंट्स, देन पेटल्स, देन एंथर, देन स्टिग्मा एंड स्टाइल। सो ये जो पार्ट होता है ओवेरी, ओव्यूल वाला, ओके, विथ स्टिग्मा, ओके, सो इसको क्या बोलते हैं? ये फीमेल पार्ट होता है। और ये जो एंथर और फिलामेंट जो होता है ये क्या होता है? आपका मेल पार्ट होता है, ओके। सो दिस इज द डायग्रामेटिक रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ द एलएस ऑफ ए फ्लावर, ओके। नाउ हम आगे देखते हैं। सो प्री फर्टिलाइजेशन स्ट्रक्चर एंड इवेंट्स के बारे में। सो बेसिकली प्री फर्टिलाइजेशन स्ट्रक्चर एंड इवेंट्स होते क्या है? हार्मोन्स एंड स्ट्रक्चरल चेंजेस इन प्लांट लीड टू डेवलपमेंट ऑफ फ्लावर, ओके। सो हार्मोन्स एंड स्ट्रक्चरल चेंजेस ऑफ प्लांट्स जो होते हैं उससे क्या होते हैं? फ्लावर डेवलप होते हैं। एंडोसियम कंसिस्ट ऑफ whole of stamens represent male sex organs and gynoecium represent the female reproductive organs, okay. Stamen, microsporangium and pollen grains, what are these? So typical stamen consists of two parts, long and cylindrical stalk called filament and terminal bilobed structure called the anther, okay. A typical angiosperm anther is bilobed, that is bilobed, and each lobe has two theca, that is called diathecous. Each anther contains 4 microsporangium located at the corners, 2 in each lobe. Each microsporangium becomes pollen sacs and are packed with pollen grains, okay. हम आगे देखते हैं structure of microsporangium. So how is the structure of microsporangium? The structure of microsporangium consists of each microsporangium is surrounded by 4 wall layers. First one is epidermis, endothecium, middle layer, and then tapetum. So basically there are 4 layers: epidermis, endothecium, middle layer, and then tapetum, okay. The innermost layer is called the tapetum, which is the multinucleated with dense cytoplasm. It nourishes the developing pollen grains. The centers of each microsporangium contains homogeneous cells called the sporangious tissue, okay. Now आगे देखते हैं. So this is the structure of the microsporangium, okay. So these are the pollen grains. This is epidermis. This layer is endothecium. This is stromium, okay. This is tapetum, the nutrition providing layer. This is epidermis. These are vascular stroma. This is stomium. This is microspore mother cell, mmc. This is endothecium. This is middle layer, and this is microspore mother cell, and this is stomium, okay. हम आगे देखते हैं. So what is microsporogenesis? So microsporogenesis is the process of formation of microspores from pollen mother cells through meiosis is called microsporogenesis. The sporogenous tissue of microsporangium differentiate into either microspore mother cells or pollen mother cells. Each microspore mother cells undergoes meiosis, okay, and give rise to haploid microspore tetrad. One on dehydration, microspore tetrad dissociate to form 4 microspores, okay. Each microspore develop into pollen grains. Now I'll see pollen. What is pollen grain? So pollen grains represents the male gametophyte. Mainly it represents the male gametophytes. It is spherical and has about 25 to 15 micrometer in diameter. It covers two layers. The hard outer layer is called exine, and it is made up of sporopollenin, which is the one of the most resistant organic material known. Okay, it can withstand high temperature, strong acids, alkalis. Okay, no enzyme can degrade it. Okay, the exine has prominent aperture called the germ pore, with where sporopollenin is absent. Okay, the inner wall of pollen grain is made of intine, and it is thin and continuous layer made up of cellulose and pectin. On maturity, the pollen grain contains two cells, the vegetative cells and the generative cells. The vegetative cell is bigger, has abundant food reserves and large irregular shaped nucleus. The generative cell is small, floats into the cytoplasm of vegetative cell. In 60% of angiosperm, pollen grains are shed at the two-celled stage. Okay. The others, the generative cell divides mitotically to form two male gametes before pollen grains are shed. Okay. Now we'll see. So this is the structure of the pollen grain. Okay. So this is the cytoplasm. This is the cytoplasm. This is the nucleus. This layer is called outer layer is called exine. This inner layer is called intine. Okay, and this is the germ pore. This is cytoplasm. This is tube nucleus. Okay, this is generative nucleus. This is tube nucleus. This is pollen tube from where the pollen travels. This is male cells. Okay, now we'll see economic importance of the pollen grains. Pollen grains may cause severe allergies and bronchial affections. Okay, it may cause chronic respiratory disorders like asthma, bronchitis. Pollen grains, Parthenium or carrot grass causes allergies. Okay, pollen allergy. Pollen grains are rich in nutrients, hence used as pollen tablets for food supplements. Pollen consumption increases performance of athletes and race horses. After shedding, the viability depends on the temperature and humidity. In wheat and rice, the pollen grain loses viability within 30 minutes of their release. In Rosaceae, Luminaceae, Solanaceae, they remain viable for months. Pollen grains can be preserved for years in liquid nitrogen at minus 196 degrees Celsius. Now I'll see the pistil microsporangium, ovule and embryo sac.